You know, I saw you hold your hand out. I was just doing something with it. Something I've been trying to do lately. So, just for future reference, don't take it out of my hand like that. I forgot my eyes closed. Okay.
Rowdy live, honey. Yeah.
Well, I wanted to put a hat on.
Okay.
I usually press the live button when I'm ready. Hey, Tooled Up, how are you doing? Good to see you out there today. There we go.
Yep.
Low FPS. My gosh, I forget what our title is already.
Oh,
Making
isn't
things
it?
clear.
That's
Yeah.
right. We know Tool is here.
We do. There shall be others.
There shall be
It says there
others.
are 4 viewers,
Yeah.
so somebody's out there just being quiet. But hello, 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 wherever you are, whoever you are. It's good to have you. It's good to see you. Welcome to 420ish Teen Tarot. Grymm and I are just. It's been a heck of a day. How are you guys doing? Are you feeling this like wackadoo energy out there? I know we talk about that all the time because like the energy has been wackadoo for quite some time now. But um, recently, like within the last 24 hours, 48 hours
I would say
maybe,
maybe 48 hours.
it's really kind of escalated. Things have escalated.
Just as you
So,
said that, Rory ran up the ceiling.
oh yeah, talk about escalating. Rory is our pet. I don't mean pet, but you know what I mean. I mean that with love.
Resident.
Our resident, either squirrel or raccoon. We can't tell if it's a small raccoon or a very large squirrel. You know what I mean? Somewhere in that middle ground. But it lives in the rafters above our heads here at the old church. And so you just heard Rory, huh?
Yep.
Well,
But that chaos has escalated over the last
yes,
couple of
it
days.
really has. We've heard from folks that are, struggling with some health issues, some decisions that are massive decisions, life altering kind of decisions. And
From out of the
really,
blue.
yes,
Almost an explosion in their lives.
right. Now, Graham and I aren't going to talk too much about the astrological nuances of all that because actually we want you to tune in on Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern. It's April 1st. Yes, April Fool's Day. But we are going to be chatting with Copper. Copper from our Purple Door Astrology Guild. She is our resident guild leader and astrologer in that group. And so um, I hope you guys can join us because we're going to talk about astrology. But there's a lot of really interesting, like, life shifting events kind of going on around us right now. And yesterday, Grim and I sat back and just kind of scratched our heads about that, didn't we, hon?
Yes, we did.
We were like, wow, no wonder folks are feeling it. Do you want to talk about some of those? Like
Well, I
like
know
we
we're,
already talk about
yeah,
the Schumann a lot,
we're going to go
but
into more of a deep dive on this on Monday, right?
mm-hmm,
But just to keep in mind that with all the chaos that's going on around us personally right now in our lives, what we've got going on in the night sky, just because it's night doesn't mean it's not there during the day as well, is we had a full moon, we had a lunar eclipse, We have a comet within proximity of our own site right now going on. Uh, we've got G4 grade solar storm taking place right now, which is the
Huge.
second highest rating one can get. That's one step away from grid collapse type scenarios.
Hmm.
All of those things play a role in our daily lives on an energetic level.
Not to mention the the drastic weather shifts right
Yep.
now, blizzards in one part of the country, floods in another part of the country. It's just all kind of impacting. We're not even talking about the famine.
Nope.
We're not even talking about the famine that's hitting the rest of the
In
world.
multiple places.
We're just talking about those like kind of astrologically
Well, no,
blended,
because
adjacent.
we have all of that astrology going on right now, but on Earth itself,
Right.
what vibration is humanity pulsing with right now?
Oh, it's intense. And so if I sometimes Grim and I talk about, we feel like all we do is like doom talk on here, like, oh, let's talk about sharing more trauma. But, it is about that right now because we are doing shadow work actively. And if you join us here at 420ish Tarot, you'll be doing shadow work even if you don't plan on doing shadow work because
Even if
um,
you don't know what it is.
right, we're just kind of guided that way with folks and with ourselves. We're doing it ourselves and uncovering, nuances and things about our own psyches and our own understanding of who we are as we go along. And of course, these shifts, that's why whenever somebody tells me they've got a migraine or their ears are ringing or they've had an upset stomach, Grim and I always try to remind everybody that, yes, don't forget. I know that you probably, maybe you ate something wrong, or maybe you're really stressed out and thus the migraine. I mean, some of those things that you've had chronic illnesses or, kind of, the scenario of this repeated physical ailment. Remember that, yes, it is a physical thing, but there's also a mind and spirit component to all of it. Oh, baby. Don't forget to attend to that spirituality end of things as you're healing. And our topic today is making things clear. And, you know, the other night was a full moon and a lot of us put crystals out, although there was some contention in the pagan community about whether or not it is good to charge your crystals during the night of a lunar eclipse. To me, it's just another like added dimension or portal of energy.
Yeah.
So, there isn't, for us, there isn't necessarily a positively and a negatively charged opportunity. It is, to us, it's all positive because how we use the energy of it is what is the point of it all. So whatever, um, positive energy, vibrational frequency that the moon can clear our crystals with, and help them to kind of reset, that just helps us. And we work with both light and dark energy, so we expect our crystals to work with us in those areas. Crystals don't expect to just be perfect and pristine the whole time. That's not their part in this story, and
To,
they're aware of that. I mean,
just because we attribute the healing energies to rose quartz doesn't mean that those same energies can't be anti-healing.
right,
It's the balance.
right.
Everything has it.
Right. And just because we will hold that piece of rose quartz in our hand and stare at it for 3 hours and it won't move, it doesn't communicate like we expect it to, it does communicate to some people. Now, I'm not sitting, saying it's going to pull up a chair and roll a doobie and like start chatting with you, but it has its own form of communication. We don't give it the qualities of sentience. We don't assign it with that kind of level of consciousness, but it does have its own level of conscious energy, and we're not attuned to it as much as we'd like
Well,
to be.
to believe in magic, to say that magic is real, and that everybody has inherent strengths and weaknesses with how they interact with magic. We have to acknowledge those that can communicate with crystals, can talk to them, can communicate on ways that we don't ourselves, myself, don't quite grasp. But that doesn't negate the sentience that that person has towards feelings that person has towards the crystals.
Right.
How's that keeping things clear?
Well, because it's time that we clear. I mean,
Oh,
people are wondering, how do I get through this time of chaos? How do I get through? It's deeper. I mean, some of us pride ourselves on working with chaos magic, but at the same time, this is kind of unknown territory. None of us have really been through this before in this lifetime. That's why it's important and imperative that we begin, and I've been saying this for years now, so is Grymm, that we begin to remember who we are. Remember. You've forgotten and remembered lifetime after lifetime after lifetime.
every level of history, going back to the very inklings of our existence as a human race, every iteration of civilization has been built upon the foundations of the successes and failures of the civilizations prior. The same with our own past lives. Each of us have lived many different lives that have gone through many different eras of trauma on a village level, on a township level, on a city state level, on a national level,
On a church level,
on a church level.
family level.
All of our past lives have built us what I believe to be the foundations on which we move forward in this life based on the social traumas presented to us. We are now in a time in our evolution as humanity, and for the first time ever, feeling as a global events like never before. Our
Hmm.
ability to connect and see what's happening in real time halfway around the world has never happened before in human history. We are moving towards a great change, and these little chaoses that we're experiencing right now are, it's kind of the sorting hat of Harry Potter, and it's sorting out those that are ascending to a new level of understanding of what magic truly is, and it's sorting out those that resist the magic and want to hide from it.
And unfortunately, we've reached a point where we really, it's like we have to face that some folks will be able to move on in this new energy, and some folks just won't be able to
Let go.
let go and kind of flow with it. So um, that's why it's important to allow yourself to remember those lifetimes. You know, if you're going to sleep tonight and you have, oh yeah, Gussie always says, make sure you unwind at the end of the night. Grymm even takes a walk sometimes. Okay, unwind, let it go, release what I no longer need. Take in deep breaths to allow that calming, pure, crystalline white energy to just infuse every cell, every square inch of your physical body and your energy body, just all of it. Just let that white light energy just flow around you. And then when you feel that connection and you feel yourself, you've, taken in enough light, you've sent it to where it hurts to heal there. And then you can allow yourself to in waves, let some of that energy go. It's excess. You don't need to hold on to it. It's available to you at all times. Just let it flow and charge that as you do with loving, positive thoughts toward the community as a whole, to the greater global community, if you will, and allow that just pure white light, transcendent energy. You no longer need it, but you can charge it as you let it go. Let it go back to neutral, yes, but also with the intention of doing right in the world, right? Now, in this space, when you're there and you're open to your own higher self, have a discussion about these are the things on my mind today. And these are the areas that I'm a little confused about. And I'm hoping maybe you can shed some light for me. Help me connect with who I need to connect with. Help me see what it is that I need to see. And allow yourself to truly let go of those worries and let your higher self do some work for you. Not that it doesn't already. It does its own thing. I don't even like to talk about it as if it's a separate part of us, because it really isn't. But a lot of us, because we're so separate from our spirituality, we're working on getting back to that reconnection.
That re-remembering.
And getting there, part of that is remembering your past lives. So ask your own self, the past lives that I need to remember, they're pertinent to right now. This is the information needed. Allow those past lives to come through.
One of my past lives has experienced war as a victim civilian. One of my ancestors has experienced war as a soldier on the enemy side. One of my ancestors has been a terrorist. One of my ancestors has been, name any number of scenarios that we are experiencing in the world today. One of my ancestors died from a plague. One of my ancestors was persecuted. One of my ancestors, whatever you can think of. Your past lives have experienced any number of scenarios that are happening today, and they can guide you through how to best navigate on a spiritual level the chaos.
So welcome them in. Welcome them in alongside your ancestors. And you know, when I call a circle, I often, and I'm not speaking for Grymm because I'm usually the one that calls the circle. He has a different role. But I don't know what he does when he does it on his own. So that's why I'm not speaking for him. But when I call a circle with a group, I always call in our own. I do this for myself too. I call in my own past lives. I call in my ancestors, and that includes where I've stood as my own ancestor. You know, like sometimes we've lived so many lives in so many different scenarios in so many different realms of existence, or what do they call it? Um, if I was a scientist, I wouldn't call it a realm. I would call it
A reality.
a reality. Thank you. I think you get what I'm saying. Uh, but here's too, you know, finding those inner guides. Some of them are our very own ancestors, and some of them are us.
And
And
some of them will become your descendants.
lighting this candle now in honor of all those that are called to this circle, that we may reconnect with our higher self, that we may find that touch of divine presence in our lives, the God Goddess energy, that divine spark that lies within all of us, no matter what the creed or religion or culture or race. We're all connected by this divine spark that brought us all to life. We are each made up of the elements: earth, air, fire, water, but also above, below, within. We connect to animal allies, plant allies, and crystal allies that are here to serve us in our greatest and highest good. They're here under acknowledgement that when we grow, they grow. When we help, they help. They receive love.
They come in to their next life a little more armored for how to handle their experiences in that life
Although
because of the
some
life you lived.
although some doggies do move on.
Some do. Some do.
Some doggies, I think dogs and cats are a real high level of elevation, if you will, on the energetic.
And horses and elephants and
You're
alligators.
not wrong. And bearded dragons
Yeah.
and, you know, little cockatiels and sparrows and grackles and lizards. And you're right, Grim. Fish, tarantula. It all depends on where you connect and how you connect with that animal. They
But
all have beautiful energy.
I
But
think
I'm calling them in, and I'm calling in any of our animals that have already crossed over, that still remain loyal to our energy and their energy, exchanging daily. Even if we don't see them or feel them in the constant presence, we feel them on the other side. We know that they're still there. Sometimes we even still feel them, hear them. sense them, and we love that connection, maintaining that openness and not allowing us to see the other side of the veil, if you will, and calling in also any deities or fey realm, any from other realms that we may not even be aware of, that need to connect with us for a greater and higher good involved, for bringing health and healing and understanding to not only the people that are gathered here in this space and the animals, because I know we have quite a few that also listen in to 420 Tarot, and also any witchlings that might be listening in, because I know that there are a number of grandmothers and grandfathers and mothers and fathers that listen, and little witchlings hither and yon pick up our words too. So sending out love and healing energy to all that are entered in this space, that we may have a productive and profitable, successful week in health and happiness, in spite of the darkness that's crashing around us, in spite of the fact that there is tremendous energy pushing against our goodwill and against us feeling well. Perseverance is important,
Withstanding.
withstanding.
And,
And so it is, Grymm.
and above and beyond all else, understand that when we say connecting to your higher self means remembering you are your higher self. There is no difference, no distinction between the two. You are your higher self.
It's always there. We've just lost connection to it. We've been told we need to seek it through other means, other people, others' words. We need to follow doctrines that are written down in books and transcribed by men.
And when the powers that be start to see society shifting towards a more spiritual, self enlightened self, that's when the powers that be start to lock down the freedoms, start to manipulate the storylines, create propaganda designed to divide. Keeping things clear means also understanding everything that comes at you has a spin, a purpose, and a reason. Every word uttered by every person that you hear has a reason. If you can discern if the reason is for the greater good of the community or the greater good of a select few, you know who the enemy is.
Wow, Grimmer.
I don't know where that came from, but there it is.
Well, uh, on that somber note, um, we were just blessing ourselves with, goodwill and calling in all this good intention, and then it is Grymm.
Well, it's time for you to gussy it back up.
Well, let's just see if we can shift this energy. I want to talk to some folks out there because I've been seeing some comments, and I just want to say hi of course, we said hi to Brandon. Hello, Tool. Love you much. Lee, hello. Angela Turley, wearing my hat, girly. JB, hello. She says, hey, I made it. Yes, JB works in the afternoon, but she tries to time things so that she can catch this, but that's not always possible with her job, but we get it, and we're glad you're here too. Jane Husky, hello, hello. Jane, you need to contact me about setting up your birthday reading because you were the winner. So make sure that you contact me. Otherwise, I might, I just have so much going on. It's easier if you contact me about it. Okay. Hello, Carla Coorer. It's good to see you. Um, Deb Kirkland says, try that again. Hello, everyone. Hope you're well. Michelle Kahn, whose name I don't recognize. Hello, Michelle.
She's been here a time or two
Oh,
before.
cool, cool. Great to have you back then. She says, hey, 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 beautiful, with an X. Hello back to you. Love to have you. Uh, that's why we're here, to grow and learn. Carla says, thanks for our patience. I wonder what we were patient about.
I don't know.
Wow, Grymm. There you go. Michelle Kleckler, Caps, says hello. And Carla says, hey, Grymm, truth. I'll give that one a little like. I don't know how to, do I just, if I hold on to this, will it turn into a heart?
It might.
Oh, there we go. Ta-da! We've only been on Facebook since God knows when. I think it started like 2009, didn't it?
I don't. I can't recall when it started. I can say I vaguely remember when groups started.
Yeah. I don't remember that really. Kinda, kinda. Oh yeah, I do too. That was about 2013, I think
Yeah,
2012,
yeah, somewhere
maybe.
in there. Because I also remember thinking it kind of replaced Yahoo chat groups.
So I can feel a number of people out there kind of have some questions. And I did bring my pendulum. If you're looking for a yes or no, well, I brought a pendulum. Where'd I put it? I know I said it here. Aha! I brought one. You know, I always like to name these. Um, this one is quite lovely. This one does not yet have a name. So help me think about that. Um, just hasn't come to me or Jim. Yeah, there's no.
Jem couldn't come up with a name?
Not really. Like she
Wow.
doesn't really know I'm looking for a name for this
Oh,
one. But I work with them and then I like let their name kind of rise as I work with each one of them. But this one has just been not been it works beautifully. It's lovely, but
so that's how you come up with the names that are hanging on the pendulum or on the tree right
yeah, like I'll work with them for a while and then I start to hear a name or feel like a certain energy attached. Not that it means you have to stick with it if you buy a pendulum, you know, there is the intention of the creator, of course. But we all expect you, when you buy or purchase one of these, that you would cleanse it and clear it yourself and recharge it with your intention. That's always our intention. But in the meantime, while they live with me and I work with them, I like to name them and give them my own energy zhuzh, if you will, and then they go on to other people. Like I'm thinking about sending this one up to Canada for someone in particular. I think she might really think this one is lovely. But then again, I'm not really sure. So I've got several picked out. But instead
now.
of
Couldn't you just
drawing,
ask the pendulum?
I could, but I'm just waiting. Uh, instead of drawing a card for the group today, Graham and I are going to do Wild Card Wednesday. You forgot it was Wild Card Wednesday.
Oh, thank you, sweetie.
We're going to do Wild Card Wednesday, and we are going to just draw a few cards. I'm kind of waiting for a few to jump out here, but they're not. And so if some of you would like to have a card drawn for yourself, and this is going to stand, we're going to draw several, and we're just going to ask that the cards resonate with those that need to hear them. So instead of the whole group receiving one card today, you got to kind of listen through and see what resonates with you, where the message lies. Okay, and Grim, if you could help me facilitate, what should be our hashtag today?
Clear.
Hashtag clear. If you would like a card read for you, hashtag clear. If you'd like a yes or no question answered, you can also ask for that instead.
Well, hashtag clear and then your question if it's a yes
Yes,
or no.
yes. Okay.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'll take a couple.
Okay, well, let's do this. Let's do this. What do you say? Let's spread them like this.
Okay.
And then we'll just pick whoever comes up, whichever card we're drawn to. Let's do this batch first.
Okay.
We'll do that, and then we'll do one more wild card.
Okay.
Does that sound good?
I like that.
But we're going to have to keep these short, so don't
I
let
know.
me get too long-winded. Okay.
We got Michelle Kleckler Caps.
Oh, goodness, I love that tea, Grim.
I did good.
Oh, yes, it's very lovely. Nice blend. Okay.
I couldn't remember if you liked Jasmine or not, so that's why I got that
Oh, I do love jasmine.
one. Do you? Okay.
So do you want to go first with Michelle, or you want me to go
No,
first?
just draw it and we'll see. That sounds like a winner.
The
See, I can't see him.
three of cups in reverse. Let me show you the picture. Turn it this way for you.
Oh, that's another person in a pink dress. Okay.
Yes, 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 indeed. Okay, so let's see what this has to do with here.
And try it.
So, um, Well, it does trace back to inner child. Yes, it does, Grim. But I think also has to do with feeling like you're always on the outside looking in. Like you're never quite part of the party or never quite fitting where you'd like to fit. And it seems like that's kind of reoccurring. And so, like Grim looked at the card and said, "Inner child." I do believe this started back then, and it would be a good thing for you to spend some time thinking about that and how that might kind of show up in your everyday life. I do believe that you're trying to overcome that one. Like you're already kind of consciously aware of it. So I'm not worried about this. I don't, I don't feel
It's
worried
not a
about it.
huge thing.
No,
Because
but
I don't have my glasses on, but is that flowers being handed over? Or
it's
is that
cup.
balancing the cups?
It's cups. They're like
Okay.
toasting. But there's a person in front here. Do you see it?
Oh, yeah. Because it came in reversed.
Right.
So to me, that would indicate that there is an awareness of that propensity to not feel included, not quite fitting in.
There's an awareness of it.
So
Right.
it's, and then where I get hung up is, okay, what's the cups have to do with it? It's always
Well, and I do believe like what I'm picking up on that, and I can't quite tell exactly. And of course, this isn't just for Michelle's ears. This is for, if this is resonating with you, then let it flow, right?
right.
Um, but I think it has to do with when we do get to the point where we are feeling fulfilled about something,
Mm-hmm.
there's a part of us that, I don't know, it's like we're afraid to let our cup runneth over. We're afraid to let it expand or get too big or get out of control or let our heads,
And
I don't know.
that falls back on a worthiness.
That falls back on worthiness. Okay,
Deb Kirkland.
Deb Kirkland, that's yours. Go for it.
Better put my glasses on for this.
Put on the specs,
Put
Grimmer.
the specs on.
I'm going to keep putting cards in
Oh
here.
my. Who is this for?
Deb Kirkland.
We've got the Ten of Wands, Deb. And you can see what this Ten of Wands is showing is a bundle of heavy logs bound together, strapped to the back of a young person, it looks like. I'm not sure, but strapped to the back of a person, holding them down. This card is saying that you're feeling burdened, weighed down. There's a lot of things going on in your life that make you feel like you're just being crushed down into the earth. But this Ten of Wands is also telling me that each one of those things that's making you feel bound up is actually an opportunity for magic to take place, to be understood, to be utilized.
If I may interject
Mm-hmm.
here, I'm seeing that you do have an awareness that there is like hope on the horizon.
Mm-hmm.
You know that it isn't always going to be this heavy
It's
of a burden,
and it's worth carrying the
and it's
load.
worth carrying. And it's like I think when we were talking earlier today about kind of having this separate spiritual life from your physical life, a lot of us have experienced that separateness. I feel like that is something that you need to really tune into a little bit. It's almost like I can see that spiritual guide kind of sitting in the background over your shoulder, but
Oh,
you're not quite connected to it. It's still outside of who you are. So that's what I say is um,
good eye.
also contributing to some of your tremendous I
There's
feel guilt, I feel sadness there, I feel a number of
Yeah, but there's a reward at the end of the burden.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. There is a knowledge that it's
Yeah.
not always going to remain this way. So that would be something for you to focus on is letting go of those burdens, shedding them somehow.
I just now realized that we're not streaming to just here. We also are going to our other pages,
Oh,
and we're only seeing the comment stream from Gussy and
oh
Grymm.
yeah. And we probably can't go to those other pages
Nope,
because we'll lose this.
we'll lose this.
Okay. Well, oh gosh. So what do we do if people are asking for hashtags on other pages?
We're gonna have to go back through those pages and respond in the comments.
Because we still have one, two, three, four, five, six 7, 8 cards to go. That's how many we were planning on reading today.
That was the really.
Yep.
I thought it was 9.
Well, we've already done 2.
Oh wow.
It was 9 plus the wild card,
Oh yeah, yeah.
and now we're down to 8. So if you're feeling inclined that you'd like to have a card pulled, let us know. Hashtag clear. If you're on, if you're not on the Gussy and Grymm
Facebook page.
Facebook page, then we won't see your comments. Maybe we should have some of our followers that are always here with us
Yeah.
log into those pages and watch the comments and let us know. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. What you doing, babe?
Well, I'm seeing what else because if we could just I don't know. I was hoping I could log in and see what other pages we're streaming to, but I can't.
So, do we have other folks
No,
down
we
here?
got Christy Reed.
Okay, my turn, right?
Yeah.
Christy Reed. Oh, lovely card. This deck is relatively new to us, and this is not one I've seen yet. I just love the artwork. The card is the Temperance card, one of the major arcana. Temperance meaning balance, meaning not too much or too little of one good thing. Finding, that sweet spot, that gray area where things kind of combine and balance themselves out. Looks like you're really working on bringing that balance to your life, but there are outside forces that really kind of keep trying to heap things onto you so that you're not quite getting to that peaceful state that you're looking for, searching for. I,
Whatever that outside source is, I'm sorry, Gussie, but it's tiny. It's not as big and overwhelming as you're making it out to be.
right. I think I'm being told to guide you to start coming up with that other plan, to move out, move elsewhere, move someplace that you're drawn to, because right now it feels sort of you're doing okay where you are, but it's kind of growing stagnant. And even though you keep trying to water this plant, it's not really growing in the direction that you'd like it to grow. So it's time to move it to a new window. Are you understanding what I'm saying? So, so there you go. That's what I have for you for the temperance card. That is finding balance, because right now things are out of balance in your muggle and your spiritual. And I know you do try so hard to balance them, but
It's getting there
it's
though.
getting
That's
there.
why it's not as the whatever the obstacles are really aren't as overwhelming as they might appear right now.
Yeah, that's true. That's
There's some big ones out there, but they're navigable.
and the thing that's great about Christy and other people that this card resonates with, you're not afraid to step in it, right? So, we're here for you.
Deb says that makes a lot of sense for her as far as the card her reading went. Working on it. She does have a question. She'll get back to us on that one later.
Perfect.
Kimmy King says that makes sense why I couldn't see comments. I'm assuming she was on one of the other.
Oh,
I
yeah.
forgot to turn that feature off. I discovered that it was on yesterday.
Oh, so we have to remember today. Turn it off after this one.
Yes.
What will that do? They won't be able to find us on other pages?
Well, right now it's streaming to Gussy and Grymm, the old church, Grimmed Up, and Gussied Up. So it's streaming to 4 places. But we can only see the comment stream on one of them. So
Okay.
I'm going to probably have to turn those off.
Oh, bummer.
I know.
Well, maybe we could just say if you want a card read, head over to the Gussie and Grymm page and
Because I think
hashtag
that's what
clear.
happened there.
So there's Jane Husky. Oh, good. Um, so Jane, oh, that's your turn. You're right, Grimmer.
Ooh,
Ah, ooh, what did you get?
King of Cups.
Oh.
I really like the artwork on this card. Can you see why? That's what I would look like with a full head of hair.
Good one,
Tell me I'm
sweetheart.
wrong.
Good. Let me see. Good one. Oh my goodness. Okay, so what are you reading for King of Cups? Did it
um,
come up right side up
it
or
came up right
reverse?
side up.
Okay.
King of Cups.
Should I hold it? Where can I hold it for you to see?
Who's this for? Jane. Jane, we need to give me a second on this one here as I,
Yeah, this
because
one's kind of quiet,
it
isn't it?
is. But what I'm seeing in, but I can't quite put words to it, is almost like quiet observation and understanding and acceptance.
That's what I was going to say. It's like, you know how when you look at a mug and you know there's liquid in it and you're kind of thinking to expect tea, but you can't quite see the steam rising off of it. That's where I feel that's what I was guided to go
Was
to.
it?
Like this kind of quiet observance of trying to really navigate what the next step is.
Yeah.
But you got to look very closely for the subtle hints. You got to look for that steam rising sometimes. It's not always like
Yeah, it's,
right in front of you, even if it is right in front of you. Sometimes you have to look with a discerning
I
eye.
think really it means find time in your day at any point in your day if you can when you're feeling particularly overwhelmed to
Vulnerable.
and vulnerable. Quiet your mind and just observe the situation from a quiet
Hmm.
emotional state if you can, and you might be able to undo a layer of anxiety that you really don't have to live with anymore.
Hmm. I love that. I do. I love that.
And
That I don't. And I'm looking forward to. Jane gets a birthday reading. Her name got drawn randomly for last week's free birthday reading,
but
and
that
so
really is me.
I wonder. I wonder how that will. I wonder if this card will come up this week. This card feels like one of those cards that it's got some. It's got some depth to it. Let me see what I can see here. Jane, I can see that you're really drawn to the water. Like, I don't know if you like to fish or go to the beach or just be on the water or just be
Soak in the tub.
or go down to the river or if there's a lake that you're drawn to. But it feels like it's as the weather gets a little warmer, it's time to reconnect to that element for you. And this might ring true for somebody else as well if this sounds familiar. Um, you know, when you are a person that's drawn to that element and you don't work with it enough spiritually or energetically, you kind of become like a little fish that starts to dry up on the beach. We got to recharge those elements and work with their energy within our energy and keep it spicy, keep it spruced up. And I think that you will. Get yourself something that represents water and put it in a sacred place in your home. If you don't have an altar, create something that would say water to you, a shell, a blue candle, something from, you know, anything, anything. Even what are those things called? Those globes? Snow globes, that's water. You know what I'm saying? Find something. Okay, next person. Do we have more? Oh, now they're frozen.
And Susan found her way here.
Oh, and Shelly was yapping away on the other page, she says.
Huh.
Oh, no. That's funny. Well, I hope that a couple more people, we still have one, two, three, four, five, six cards to read. If you'd like a card drawn for you, we can't always tell you that it's going to
Can I
be
see that Ten of Cups again?
happy, perky information, but we'll give you information. We are, after all, Gussy and Grymm. Oh, Victoria Alfaro. Hey, I need to move by next year, and I'm trying to figure out where I want to move to. You seen anything for me? I have a couple places in mind: Washington, Northern California, Idaho, Oregon. Do you see where I might be best? It might be best for me to move. Well, you know what, Victoria? If you could hashtag clear like everybody else, oh, she might not have been here. Yeah, I'm not doing cold readings like that, but I will draw a card for you. And since you did ask a question, we can try to focus our direction you know, in that way. But the hashtag, the gotta play the game, hashtag clear. And I've got one, two, three, four, five, six more cards to go. Shelly gets
I
one.
gotta say something though, really quick about the King of Cups card.
Yes. You
I
really are, you love that
I
card.
do. I joke that hey, that could be me with long hair, or with a full head of
Do we
hair.
need to get you some extensions or
No,
hair club?
but there also seems to be
I love you.
a message in here that, and I don't know if it's for me or if it's for somebody else out there. We can't isolate ourselves. Part of taking on the role of a healer, a way shower, a light bearer, however we want to put it, we have to make ourselves available, or we will just be sitting on our throne of knowledge, of healing powers, of whatever it is that we're meant to be providing as a service to our fellow man. If we don't make ourselves accessible, we'll just sit and stagnate.
Yep. And that results in feeling depression, feeling physical ailments that reoccur sometimes, oftentimes headaches when you're not letting yourself expand. So you're right, Grim. That's a good point. Very good point. Don't don't grow stagnant. Absolutely not. Um, all right. Do we? I know Shelly.
Yeah, we're on Shelley.
Shelly threw a hashtag
Yeah,
clear.
and
Oh,
Victoria
Shelly.
got hers in as well.
Oh, good. Shelly, Shelly. This card for you. It's the Hierophant, and always just a bundle of joy when I pull this one. But just bear with me. You know, the thing about the Hierophant is that it is also about balance, about finding spiritual balance and being okay with it. I feel like, we haven't talked for a minute, but I feel like you have been in some kind of a struggle internally about maybe not so much where you stand spiritually, but how you fit in with the rest of the spiritual community around you. I feel like that is a place that you find yourself frequently, and it has to do with, kind of wanting to step up into this next level of healer, mentor, or really wanting to stay where you are and kind of, continuing to usher folks along the path. Um, and I think it is time for you to, you know, ramp it up just slightly. I don't even know what that
A
means.
lot of times,
I'm just saying it because that's what I'm hearing. Go ahead.
I'm talking to the wolf here. Shelley, you know what I mean. I don't know why, but that Hierophant card, as I'm looking at it, tells me that it's time to start speaking your mind a little bit more on a spiritual level without fear of how others are going to take it. We understand as spiritual people, as witches, as pagans, as no, however we want to relate to the world, spiritually speaking, we understand that there's a lot of
Werewolves,
werewolves.
Fae.
There's a lot of bullshit going on in the world, and there's a lot of different areas that we could be snapping at, biting at, chomping at. We're werewolves, for Christ's sake. That's what we do. But we need to isolate it down to one or two areas that we can most effectively create change, most effectively maneuver ourselves into a position that we're creating that change from the point of love, less with our snarl.
I think that also there's a component to this that involves being afraid to like unleash the beast a little
Oh,
bit,
yeah.
like it'll get out of control or out of hand, and you don't have that kind of energy to expend right now. You've got to stay focused
That's
on
where that
what's right
balance.
in front of you is. But I want you to know that even though physically you might not always be able to be the energetic, the little bunny, energizer bunny that you were. But I want you to know that your words do carry a lot of weight with folks.
When
And so,
keeping
um,
them tempered and balanced.
yeah. And
Which,
you're not admonishing anybody.
no, I'm
Okay.
not. I think because I know, when that card hit me, I realized that where I get hung up in my own spiritual expression, so to speak, is I still,
You put your own divinity in a tiny little space, and it's hard to remember to connect to that actual higher purpose. It's hard to, and when you don't connect strongly, you get just a trickle down here. You get a trickle of it. And I think some of us are afraid that if we
to
really
fully
open up, it would be like a deluge.
and well, for me, what it hit me on was I don't always express myself fully in when I'm trying to talk spiritual matters with people because I'm afraid of turning them off on spirituality.
Right.
I have,
That's interesting. I have never had that one.
you haven't?
No, that's interesting to
Uh,
hear.
I don't, for the last several weeks now, when I think about how I want to present myself spiritually, I want it to be as honest and as integral as I possibly can, but I also want to be as open and honest with the people that are in front of me as I can as well. And if I see areas where, hey, buddy, things could be going a little better for in your life in this department if you made a change here, it's my,
Your own, you feel like the pot calling the kettle
it,
black?
in some regards, yes.
Okay.
And
I
two,
did go through that.
I'm using my spirituality as a tool to help other people. And
Hmm.
if that tool feels like a bludgeon to them, I don't want to chase them away from their own path.
Right. But
And
I
the
don't think
werewolf in me has a tendency to cudgel.
it's that little pit bull gene.
That little pit bull
Uh,
gene.
well, I agree, but I think it's time to acknowledge that part and let it flow, let it be. I think that if we trace the history of werewolves back to their inception, kind of where
Mm-hmm.
the concept, we're talking ages and ages ago, not just within modern era where
Back
people have been recording
when
things.
back when humanity was part of the Fae, of the
Yes,
Fae.
werewolves were considered shamans and were respected in their villages, and they weren't these raging beasts that a lot of the folklore has sort of created about them. We need to remember that part that was connected to, yes, the animal surge of energy, but also that divine connection, and know that you can live that
With both.
role in life without having to sacrifice one or the other. Okay.
Spiritual warriors were just as important as
Oh,
any other
absolutely.
brand of spirituality in that regard.
Absolutely.
Without the spiritual warriors, the the trailblazers, the ones that are willing to knock down the vines, so many people would more people would be lost than there are today.
Right.
And you are one of those spiritual warriors.
Your next call is Emily.
Emily,
Jim.
gemmed up. Ace of Cups. You're almost there, Emily. But what's that in the background?
Oh,
What are you letting get away from you, though?
shaky limbs. Shaky
Yeah,
limbs.
yeah,
Like
that's what it.
like it feels like you're walking, you're taking steps out into your
It's got the lotus,
spirituality.
though.
It's got the lotus. Oh, I love it. There's a pink lotus there. It feels like you're taking steps out into your spirituality. Connecting with ancestors. That's flowing.
You're
Um,
bringing it all together under
working
one chalice.
working with the elements, and things are growing, and even where you weren't expecting it to. But as you move forward, it's like I feel like you feel like you're on shaky legs. Like they're not strong enough to hold you up, but I want you to know that they are. They're part of the actual structure of this whole thing. So you just need to rely on those shaky legs and remember that
Trust the elements.
spiritually speaking, you need to put some trust here, knowing that you can move forward. You don't need to keep repeating some of these patterns. You got another card? What you
No, I'm
looking for?
noticing a theme.
Noticing a theme?
Almost every card has every element represented: earth,
Hmm.
air,
And there's been a lot of water.
and there's been a lot of. But this one particularly has a lot of air,
It does.
a lot of sky. It means opening up, allowing that magic to just go.
Right. Take a moment when you have a migraine or something that's getting you down. Use that as a moment of to electrify the situation. Okay, damn it, I've got this headache. Instead of feeling defeated and unuseful and like you can't recharge at all, try to focus on how you how it is a time to recharge. What can you do to receive that energy and align with it properly without it continuing to hurt? That's important. That's important to get past the pain. And a lot of it is this ascension stuff, these solar flares, all of this happening around us right now. It does affect those of us that are ultra sensitive, especially if, we're talking a lot of folks in the neurodivergent category. To me, that's our Fey blood. And affecting us as we transcend through these different levels of vibrational frequencies. The earth is shifting dimensions and growing. So are you. Don't be shaky about it. You're right where you're supposed to be.
Is
Step
the Earth
forward
shifting?
confidently.
Is the Earth shifting dimensions, or are more dimensions being revealed?
Well, both,
Okay.
because as it's shifting dimensions, I know the dimensions aren't really,
Stacked on top
like
of,
they're not like
right.
this, right? But in my mind, I either think about them here or sideways like this. As the earth is kind of evolving and we're down here in the third dimension,
Mm-hmm.
as we move up into the fourth and the fifth dimension, uh, things get a little more clear in some areas and some things kind of fall away. The things that are no longer important,
Ah,
it kind of gets left back there in the 3D, the 2D, the 1D. You see? As a matter of fact, I heard once we get to 13D, it's going to be a hell of a party.
I like it.
Okay, this card is for whoever is next. Who's after M?
Well, let's go up
Hi,
here.
Constance. You're not late. We're still drawing cards. We still have one, two, three, four, 5 cards to read. So if you want a card
Vic,
read,
Victoria.
hashtag clear.
Victoria was next, but she had to go,
Oh, shoot.
and that leaves us with Kimmy King here.
Okay, well, this card is for Victoria because I was going to read that one for her. So I'm going to put that there.
Okay. We'll
Kimmy
send
King.
her a message.
So do you want to draw Kimmy's because that was for Victoria?
Hmm?
You got to love it when you go, huh?
Well, I've grown. It's funny. I've grown so familiar with your other deck that I find when I pick these cards up, I've really got to look at them a little deeper, just to kind of get an idea of how they use their iconology. I mean,
Right. I do love this deck.
it is a fun deck.
Dark Mansion Tarot.
Um,
This bag I keep it in.
this is for Kimmy.
Yes.
Kimmy,
Kimothy. Kimothy
Kimothy,
King.
Kimothy King. Nine of Wands. Nine of Wands. Magic is not meant to build just defense around yourself. It's defense, it's offense, it's love, it's hate, it's a little of everything. Magic is not meant to be used exclusively as a shield.
Mm. And I think I know where this is coming from, Grimmer.
Do you?
Yeah,
I
because
don't.
if we were chatting with um, Kimmy right now,
Mm-hmm.
and we were talking about this very topic, she'd say, "But I feel like I do know that, and I am aware of it. But I
Mm-hmm.
think what this is saying is earlier today you were talking about when you were a younger woman, and a lot of us, man, woman, that doesn't matter. When we were younger folks, a lot of us found our way to magic and we were curious about it and we started learning. We kind of, dabbled around. Some of us read about Wicca. Some of us just kind of read a little bit about the Golden Dawn or, whichever direction you went. Maybe you were drawn to the, Egyptology kind of stuff, and that's where your focus has been. Uh-oh.
Nine of Wands.
But a lot of us found our way to magic through feeling different, feeling like we needed to defend ourselves
Yeah.
somehow. Feeling so, what I'm trying to say is in your inner child work, trace back where your magic started and what was going on in your life at that time. Take a look at it because that might be very well what's keeping you kind of from getting into this next phase of your magical whatever.
Evolution,
Yes, there you go. Thank you.
ascension.
Thank you. Thank you. And you might not feel that resonates or connects, but do me a favor and just spend some time
And
taking a look.
and what I mean by magic isn't supposed to be exclusively for defense. We don't want to take the magic and stack it around us and isolate ourselves from the help that we can be giving other people while we're healing ourselves. We don't have to be completely shored up and 100% sure of who we are and balanced in every way, shape, and form before we start doling out our knowledge, our magic, our way showing light. Share what you know as you go. Don't stack it up around you thinking that you need to get yourself totally healed up first.
Yeah. If you do that, you'll be waiting a really long time.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's how Kimmy feels or not, but that's good advice for
that's just what the
anybody. Anybody.
that's. I like this deck. It's making me think.
Oh, this is Victoria's card.
Yeah,
Right.
and
Okay.
we've got nobody else that hashtagged clear.
Oh, really? Well, we've got two more cards left and the
How long have we been going at it?
1 hour and 1 minute and 22 seconds, 8 seconds.
There it is, imposter syndrome.
Oh, that old
Oh, so it's
imposter
not really
syndrome.
holding it to defend yourself so much as it is you're collecting it but not letting it flow through
Hey, look.
out of Constance, thank you for the stars.
Want to pull a card for her?
Constance, this card's for you. We already pulled that card.
Well, how did that get back out here?
I don't know.
Wait. No, go with it.
Go. That's
It
why
was in
I
the
couldn't make
line.
up my mind.
It's in the line. It came back through. I don't know how. We were putting the cards we've read in this one pile, and I keep feeding. I have a little line of cards. I keep putting one from this other pile over here, so we constantly have five. But we're down to three right now, and we don't know how this card popped up again. It's magical. Don't know how you feel about it
I
this time?
no, I'm I'm going to go off the premise that if this card got pushed back through the system and came up when it did, it really has something important
It
to
really
say
has
to
something important.
Constance specifically.
Yep, exactly.
And what I think it's telling me is your art is your magic. Be more secure in that.
Yeah, there's something that you're not letting flow. And so it's kind of like, it's kind of, I keep hearing chittering. It's kind of chittering along instead of flowing along. I think this does have something to do with confidence um, to some extent. Do you think that is true,
And that
Glenn?
I don't know about confidence. That's what I'm. That's why I wanted to study it for a minute. But it feels like integrating, feeling more sure about integrating
The
the
magic.
magic
That's
into
what
the
it is.
creation
Yeah,
of
that's
art,
what it is. Yeah, yeah. I think you're focused
the
on
technique.
the technique and that part of it, but maybe infusing a bit more magic with your intention into your creations. That might be what you're feeling is missing, and you just weren't
Yeah, because
sure.
this isn't a knock on the quality of the
No,
work
no, no,
that you
no,
do, any of that. I
no,
think
no,
it's
no.
more on an intrinsic level for yourself, a, a means to boost a little higher what you get out of the process emotionally.
Right. So, and what we mean by that is while you're creating that piece, what do you do at the end of that creation before you set it up for exposure to the public that they might want to buy it? Do you take that little pendant or necklace or whatever it is that you've created, and you make so many things. I love how prolific you are that way. I do. I admire it. But do pass it over a flame and consecrate it? Do you bless it in your hands? I think that I don't know
Being more
what you do.
mindful of your magical process.
Yeah, I think it will help you in the long run. Um, I know sometimes you felt like you don't really quite belong, or something's not blooming for you, or it doesn't feel congruent. But I know that it's just a matter of reacclimating yourself. You've had a couple of really difficult hits of major life waves in the last year, and it takes a while to recover from those. It's like, once a boat goes flying by you, and you're on a little pontoon, or even worse, a canoe. The whole thing starts to rock for a while, and you can see those ripples well after that speedboat has passed out of sight. That's kind of where you are. And so allowing yourself to get back into that movement and that sway, and allowing yourself to find that rebalance and recharge, I think you're going to find that what you create with your hands, and what you bless as you create and build those things, it's really going to begin to flow. I see a lot of positivity coming in with this spring energy.
Yeah. She says that she's been stuck in the creative process, her portion.
Yes, focused on that, which is, good. It's good to you got to get your method down.
Mm-hmm.
Once you get your method down, then you can focus on this magical end of it. But I think it's time to focus on the magical a little bit, and less of the,
The process.
yeah. You always tell me, don't perfect perfection.
Yep.
Try not to perfect perfection. Because I do sometimes get lost in making it just so. And sometimes I make it worse in an attempt to make it just so.
Yep.
Just saying. Okay, do we have anyone
No, that was the last
else?
of them.
Okay. All right. Well, I need to go read this card that I've now lost again. Oh no, here it is. That's for Victoria. And do you want to do one more card then? It's the wild card.
The wild card. This is the group card.
Yep.
The Fool in reverse. I like this little guy. Oh, you see that? It's the Fool.
What journey are we going on? What journey are we
So
taking?
many of us have lost the feeling of what it feels like to play, to jump, to skip, to stomp in the mud puddles, to just make funny faces and funny noises, to laugh at a fart. So many of us have forgotten how to connect with that inner child, but unfortunately, that inner child is also a guide in how to deal with life as an adult. There's a reason we start out in childhood. There's a reason that we start out playful and ignorant of the traumas and the stresses and the worries of the world. We've reached a time now that it's bring that little kid back out. Act the fool every once in a while. Let those inner reserves drop for just a moment.
And step forward no matter what. I know you might not know what the next step is. You might not be able to see it clearly. You might not know where your path is leading, but play with that energy anyways, and allow yourself to experience it. Allow the universe to guide you in that way. Remember to keep looking for signs around you all the time. All the
Yeah.
time.
Our inner child knew that their dragons were real when Bigfoot walked through the forest and fairies came and visited in the middle of the night. Somewhere along the ways, we replaced those joyful feelings of those youthful days with the fears of the ogres and the goblins that we are told we're supposed to fear.
We're
But
supposed to believe they're not real.
we're supposed to believe they're not real. So in exchange, we start fearing other things, the mundane things, the ordinary things. Bring back that inner child. Ask the Fae how they would deal with their boss when their boss says something mean. Don't take
Do
life
Fae
so.
have bosses? I
No, but
don't
we
know.
do. And if we connect to
True.
that magic side of us, we can learn to understand a little better how to navigate those irritations that we get met with on a
Right.
daily basis.
Right. Right. Okay. Well, that's a lot. We kept you guys for a really decently long period of time, and we love that. Don't forget, if you want a reading, go to openthepurpledoor.com. You can find me there. We also have Copper, who is doing astrology readings, and Grymm. Are you listed there? Do you have your readings up or did you take them back down again?
I don't know, to be honest with you.
Well, contact me or contact Grymm via Facebook if you're looking for one. And then also, don't forget at 9 p.m. tonight, we pause for peace. 9 p.m. your time. Doesn't have to be our time. We're Eastern, but you don't have to be that. Wherever you live, 9 p.m.
Just take 27 seconds to sit down for just that amount of time to.
Let some good energy flow. Reconnect yourself. Fill your own reserves back up because you don't need to hold on to a lot of it. And just let the rest of the energy, charge it with peace and healing and love. You know what to do. That's at 9 p.m. Tomorrow night we have a Purple Door Witch Wave at 9 p.m. And I would love all of you to join us. What? Tomorrow night is a 9 p.m. Purple Door Witch Wave. Join us there on the Purple Door. It's something that we do every month on the 28th. It is a meditation and ritual usually attached to that some way. So bring a candle, bring something to write with, bring something to light with, bring a pencil to write with. Boy, Grimm's in his own world over here. I better figure out what's happening. Also, if you would like to subscribe to the Purple Door e-zine, that would be fabulous because it is what we do every month. A group of us write and draw, paint, and express ourselves through recipes, folklore, memories, understanding, and it's written by witches for witches like you, not somebody out there that, claims to be, the master of all knowledge in one area or another. We're just regular people like you. And that's why we love our Purple Door e-zine. It's only $4.20 a month. So please, please, please consider supporting us that way. You can find that on our website, openthepurpledoor.com, or on our Patreon account, which is Gussy and Grymm, right?
Yep.
Tomorrow night, Purple Door Witch Wave. Monday night, live stream with first Monday of the month. We're featuring Copper from the Astrology Guild. We're going to talk about astrology again. And
I think that covers it.
but you were just lost in thought 5 seconds ago. Do you want to talk about that after, or did you already?
Well, I don't want to forget it, so I want to just
Okay.
throw it out, a piece of it.
Okay. Throw out a piece of it.
It started with the idea that we don't need to hoard the energy that we pull down during the witch wave. We're not batteries.
Peace.
Or
Pause for peace.
pause for peace, I'm sorry.
All of it, really.
We're conduits, not batteries. We're meant to let that energy flow. But we as a society have been trained that it's something to be hoarded.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I just went off on a mindset of, and this is where we can take it up later, but a mindset of how do we undo that training, and that is to undo our relationship with money completely, how we relate to it on
Right.
every fundamental level, because money is energy. And the wealthy have figured that shit out.
This is a tough one. We've been working on this for
Yeah,
several years now, but it kind of unfolds in layers, doesn't it?
it does.
And you can see that the how our attitude toward money was really formed and shaped by our ancestors' experience with it too.
Yes.
So we're really unwinding, lifetime after lifetime of understanding about the pitfalls and the balance of money,
But
right?
there's an infinite amount of energy.
Mm-hmm.
We can all, every last human being on earth, absorb the magical energy to the point that we are completely topped off and couldn't hold on another little bit, and there'd still be plenty left over if we allow it to flow.
Right.
Just let it flow. Let it flow.
Let it flow.
Stay
So
magical.
wait, Grimmer.
Oh.
First you press the go live button. Now
Oh.
you're saying stay magical. I wanted to say two more things. First of all, Victoria, I'm going to contact you and read this card for you. But Grim and I started this whole card reading thing, which is why it went a little bit long this time. We were going to read 9 cards plus one for our wild card for 9 different people. There is still a card out here that has not been read. And I want to encourage, if you're watching this later on tonight, catching the rerun, and you feel compelled that you were supposed to have that card read, please send me a text or Grim a text and I will read it for you because I know this was meant for someone. I just don't think you're here yet. So when you read and when you hear this and you feel compelled, send me a text and I'll read
with the
this
hashtag
card for you. I don't know what it is yet.
clear.
Yeah, got a hashtag clear. All right, everyone.
There's rules, you know.
There's rules. Love y'all.
Stay
Stay
magical.
magical.